To another video, man, live in HD. Man, it's all good to be here again, yet again, as always. First and foremost, let me start by saying this. Like always, man, you're always welcome to give your opinion, give your thoughts, your counter thoughts. But by and large, this is just for me to record my own thoughts of consciousness on the world of sports, culture, music, and just life happenings. And it's a good thing and a good way to record myself in my youth and in my prime so that my grandkids and future grandkids can go back and look and say, hey, man, this is what great uncle or uncle thought. And this is something that we can pull from. So this is more so of a recording that I do to give out my thoughts, give out my opinions on, like I said, sports, culture, and music. First thing I want to talk about is a big topic of boxing today. All right. We still got the issue and the concern about whether Errol Spence Jr. is a Hall of Famer. And we also got the projected Terrence Crawford fight with Canelo Alvarez. So they kind of go together because in the recent interview that Terrence Crawford had, he said, in his opinion, based on his criteria and his standard, that Errol Spence, in his opinion, was not a Hall of Famer. Okay? And that's a good topic of conversation. My initial opinion is no. And we'll look at that and get on that boxing topic today. But I also want to talk about Terrence Crawford and his potential fight with Canelo Alvarez. All right. And I want to get some things off my chest. This is just my thoughts. And this is what I want to really cook on and get off the plate so you can know exactly where I stand and who I be and what I say. When it comes down to Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford, my initial thoughts is that I love the fight. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great fight. These guys are world-class athletes. Okay, they get paid millions and millions of dollars to perfect their craft, which is boxing. So is there a feeling of nervousness for Terrence Crawford? Absolutely not. You're talking about these guys are walking around in the 5 foot, right? They 5 foot something, and they're weighing under 170 pounds, under 200 pounds. These are small guys by normal standards, okay? So do I feel some nervous energy for Terrence Crawford for stepping up to fight Canelo? No, I don't. I don't think the boxing game wants to see Canelo beat Terrence Crawford down. I don't think this is a conspiracy. I don't think that this is a bogus fight. I don't think that Canelo wouldn't get credit. I don't think Terrence Crawford wouldn't get credit. I don't look at it the way I've heard other people say that they look at it. I think this is a good pound for pound, much needed fight in the realm of boxing. We've already had Mayweather seal up the glory that could be had off his name. Mayweather did his thing, pound for pound, best fighter in this particular era or the era prior to this one, whatever that looks like to you, okay? And no one beat him. He defeated Pacquiao. Pacquiao did stay around to, have some guys beat him. And that was the end of that, right? Those guys recycled into the Terrence Crawford fight. Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao, and Terrence Crawford beat him. Ugas beat Pacquiao, and then Errol Spence beat him, okay? But Mayweather had already put the nail in a coffin on glory stemming from the potential glory that you could have gotten from Pacquiao. Plus, Marquez had already stopped him viciously. We was really on a comeback trail for your boy Manny Pacquiao, considering the fact that he got stopped by Marquez. Now, with that being said, in this era, in my opinion, there has to be a new pound for pound established star in a new foundation for pound. And who is that person and what does that person look like and what is the criteria? Now, for Mayweather's era, it was being undefeated, pay-per-view numbers, not fighting the best, picking and choosing your opponent. Belts did not matter. Biggest gates, biggest money plays. Floyd Mayweather taught us to be a big money player, and that was in his era, coupled with what Pacquiao numbers were, coupled with what De La Hoya was doing. So that was the criteria of greatness in that era. You know, on top of some other things, you know, getting lineal, jumping from weight class to weight class, not really cleaning anything out, but kind of being more diverse. Okay, that's what Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, De La Hoya, your Trinidads, with the exception of like Bernard Hopkins, you had these guys jumping from weight class to weight class, getting a lot of belts, kind of using the Tommy Hearns blueprint, even the Roberto Duran blueprint, going up, getting multiple belts, multiple different weight classes, right? And that's what Mayweather did well. But Mayweather has since long retired, and there's a few new sheriffs in town, and there's a new standard in town. And I feel like everybody hasn't completely got the memo, or they hasn't checked their email to see that it doesn't work like that anymore. Okay, if you want Mayweather era, then you need to look up Mayweather era in his old fights. They're still online. They're still on YouTube. They so good now on YouTube, they're not even in parts like they used to be back in 06. Part 1, part 2, part 3. You can just look at the entirety of Mayweather's career, the entirety of Pacquiao career, Timothy Bradley, Marquez, Sergio Martinez, Miguel Cotto, all of these cash cows. You can look up their resumes and look at their fights today, right now. But that's not how it works. What seemed to be being established by the new pound for pound kings in this new era of boxing, okay, it ain't got nothing to do with pay-per-view sales, gate sales. That's that old shit coming from the old nigga that y'all still are beholden to, trying to project that shit on everybody else, because them other two niggas, the one from PI and the one from Michigan, they didn't clean out divisions. They bounced around and got into a category of diversity in belts, belt hopping. That was their era. And Mayweather closed that up by retiring. Okay? Crawford, Usyk, in a way, has established a new era and a new order of operation. It's not about picking and choosing your fights. It's about fighting the best in their primes at the right time within logical reasoning. Okay? That's what's being established. That's what Usyk is doing. That's what Terrence Crawford is doing. That's what Inoue is doing. That's what Devin Haney has done. That's what Taylor has done. That's what's going on here. So if you're still holding on to a piece of the old guard and the way it used to be from yesteryear, that's not the standard, my guy. That's just not the standard anymore. The standard now is becoming undisputed because a precedent has been set. Even by Clarissa Shields on the female side of the house. Terrence Crawford got the ball rolling at 140 and unified all four belts at 140. The first time in what? History. The four belt era. He did it again at 147 in history. Four belt era. When you start talking about accomplishments like those and trinkets like those with his performances against the people that are in his era, then you're talking about a Hall of Fame standard. These guys have set this roadmap, okay? You got Usyk and all these guys, Taylor, Haney, Inoue, Crawford. They are setting a standard that it is about cleaning a division out with the utmost of physicality. hands on your ass, putting you on your pockets, big time performances, separating yourself from the competition, making them look like they don't belong. That was a thing once upon a time. We know in Mayweather era, you guys got used to everything going UD12, UD12, MD12. That's fine. We're not there. And just because we got people smashing people to pieces doesn't mean that they're overrated, because they make your fighters look underrated. That's not their fault. Your guy got to step up to the plate and do what he got to do. Right now, boxing is in an awesome space. Cleaning out divisions, establish who is who, so we don't have to guess. You can't keep bringing the Mayweather thought process or the Pacquiao process, thought process, and that formula into today's boxing. It's just not working. Canelo is undisputed. Bivol is undisputed. Like, we're getting this up and down the weight classes, man. So if you're bringing in Floyd Mayweather Pacquiao thought processes, that is fine, but use that for 06, 7, 8, 9, and 2010. We ain't in that shit no more. It is motherfucking April the 4th, 2025. And if you didn't get the email, check your boxing email and look at the memo that me, Hyplo, Blood, and everybody else got, that it's about Undisputed. CC from fucking Terrence Crawford. And fucking Canelo Alvarez, and fucking Usyk, and Devin Haney, and Taylor, and Inouye, and motherfucking Bivol. Did you guys not get the memo? So we get it. It was a fun ride. Oh, I sold 1.2 million pay-per-views. I sold 3.5 pay-per-views. Okay, cool. It was what it was. Awesome. Perfecto. Those guys who do that, they ain't boxing no more. The cash cows, those guys, Oscar De La Hoya, Tito Trinidad, Shane Mosley, Mayweather, Marquez, that shit over with. It ain't enough to just get 1, 2, 3. You got to get all 4 of them things now to be credible in the game of boxing, because there was so many years of us having a lot of leftovers in the division. You didn't get to fight Paul Williams. You didn't get to fight Sergio Martinez. You didn't get to fight none of these new guys, Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter. Okay, fine, cool, retire. It's over with. Now we're in this era. Which brings me to the pound for pound best fighter in boxing, and a absolute first ballot Hall of Famer, Terrence Crawford. There's nothing to discuss. Anybody that has anything to discuss that is in opposition to the fact that Terrence Crawford is a first ballot Hall of Famer, you're being completely ridiculous, and you're shooting things just to make content. Now, when you compare that to Errol Spence don't make the Hall of Fame because he shared the ring with Terrence Crawford and got a thorough ass whooping. It doesn't work like that. Getting your ass whooped by a Hall of Famer or future projected Hall of Famer does not make you a Hall of Famer because you had a good go at it with that guy. No, you got viciously dog walked and you got stopped bad. So this notion and this uneasy feeling about should Terrence Crawford go up and beyond and challenge himself to jump 2 weight classes at 168 against Canelo, and it's all this nervous energy and all this doubt and I'm not sure, fine. That's what being great is all about. What is the problem? Sure, should Canelo Alvarez fight David Benavidez? Absolutely so. I wanted to see the fight too, but Canelo said he's not going to fight him. That's what he said, and that's what's going on. And then some people want to hold it against Benavidez because he used to play with his nose and he had weight issues and he had his chance to be on a good foot, but he fucked it up. And he had to go to the back of the line and come back all the way around. And now he wants to fight Canelo because he got himself together and you're not impressed with that and you don't think that's good enough. Okay, cool. But he don't want to fight Benavidez. Do I want to see the Benavidez fight? Yes. Okay. Now, him fighting Crawford is not a knock on Crawford or Canelo Alvarez. It's not. Which one do you prefer? Hey, that's up to you. Benavidez or the Crawford fight. It's up to you. And the reason we're in this position is because you guys give Canelo Alvarez a lot of passes. I'm not saying that Canelo hasn't done anything to make you guys giving him passes valid, because Canelo knows how to play the game well enough to make himself credible to get passes and get leeway and, you know, some mercy and grace. He's undisputed at 68. He was good at 154, good at 160. But he still has some of that shit from the old regime with Mayweather and Pacquiao and Sergio Martinez and Miguel Cotto. He got that shit going on in him too. And I like the Terrence Crawford fight versus Canelo Alvarez. It's a great fight to me. It's an excellent fight to me, and it will be a good caveat on Terrence Crawford's resume. He's not cashing out. I don't know why we think everybody wants to cash out. Everybody's not Mayweather and Pacquiao. Some people actually like to fight. Some people actually like to perfect their craft. Some people actually like to gain the weight, gain the muscle, and test their bodies and push their bodies to the limit and see if they're that in which they think they are. Could he fight Errol Lara? Yeah, I'd take that. If Crawford wanted to fight Errol Lara, I'll take that. That's a good one too. Who Canelo had a problem with. Same body structure. Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez. Everybody thought it was a good idea. I don't even know how that fight was a fight. I don't know where Canelo came from. I thought it was a ridiculous fight. I thought Mayweather should have been fighting Pacquiao. But guess what? You guys was cool with him fighting Canelo Alvarez. You guys was cool with that. You guys manufactured that fight, and Canelo could have been fighting the guys at 154, which he did not clean out. He got to fight Mayweather, lose the fight, which got the same type of structure again that Lara and Mayweather. That structure seems to give him that lean, lanky kind of, build seems to give Canelo structure problems and issues in the ring. Canelo is good at beating up, to be honest with you, he's good, in my observation, at beating up people who are very deficient. James Kirkland had a drinking problem, and Ann Wolfe could not be in his corner. Amir Khan has no business fighting the Canelo Alvarez under no circumstances, but you guys accepted that fight. And everybody knows that Amir Khan has a glass chin, and he just talked himself into fights. That was a character fight. But somebody's supposed to fight Errol Lara. They say he lost that. Austin Trout was a good one. It was a close fight. Miguel Cotto was a good close fight. Shane Mosley, he couldn't put the old man away. Shane Mosley was hanging in there with Canelo. Good fight, though. He seems to struggle with a certain type of fighter, man. And Terrence Crawford fit that bill. He only seems to dominate big head European guys. Canelo always seems to dominate. Cotto, he didn't dominate Cotto. He didn't dominate Mayweather. Actually, Amir Khan was whooping his ass until he just wasn't whooping his ass, till he got stopped. That's how it works. Austin Trout was giving him fits. Lost the fight by, a hair. Canelo has good success against a European white boy with a big head. And his last name, some type of Smith or some shit. No disrespect, but that's what he dominates. It ain't like he went up to 68 when Ward was talking about whooping his ass. Remember? Y'all forget that? Remember that? Remember Canelo was too small. See, and this shit be crazy because remember Canelo was too small to go fight Ward. Remember? When Ward was saying, oh, I'll wait for Canelo. If Canelo want to do that, I'll take that fight easy. I'll take that fight easy. And everybody's like, no, Ward need to go up there and fight Kovalev. That's how we got the Kovalev-Ward shit, remember? See, I remember the patterns vividly. See, there was Adonis Stevenson that should have been fighting Kovalev. That was the fight that supposed to have been happening that didn't happen. Then Ward got thrown in there to move up to 75 to fight Adonis Stevenson and Kovalev to mix it up at 175 to move off 168. Remember, because everybody felt like Ward was just dominating 68 and they wanted Canelo to have some space to be able to move up. Because it was a time where they were saying Canelo is too small for 160 and Triple G was too big and Daniel Jacobs and all those guys at 160 was too big for Canelo and we're asking too much of Canelo. Then he finally goes up to 160. Then all of a sudden Canelo can go to 168 and it's all good. Forgetting the fact that when Ward was up there, none of those guys, those middleweights that's fighting in all these transitional weight classes, 154, you know what I'm saying? They didn't go up to 160 and 68 to fight Ward. So I remember that. So now that Canelo's at 68, I thought he was too small to be at 168 when Ward was up there, but Crawford too small to go up to 68 to fight him. That don't make sense. You guys got to start making shit make sense because sometimes you guys are just contradicting yourself or you just really just started watching boxing and you just need to do a little bit more homework and a little bit more research, okay? Because remember, it was a time where Canelo, it was just unthinkable that Canelo would fight Andre Ward. It was unthinkable. Or Andre Darrell or Carl Froch. God forbid Canelo fight Carl Froch. They didn't see that. Now all of a sudden Crawford too small to go up and whoop on Canelo's ass. Now, this is the thing about Canelo. I think Crawford can beat him. I think Crawford beat him easy. I really do. I know that sounds ridiculous. And it could be ridiculous if Crawford does not make sure that the man do blood tests. Because Canelo will take something. I don't trust Canelo. Canelo's a cheating bastard. And it is what it is, just like that other scumbag, Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a scumbag. Him and Canelo, you can't trust them. Some about them guys that they got this weird shit that's going on where they like to take shit. They'll do anything to win. Ryan Garcia, who I think should be banned from the sport because you actually got in the ring and you inflicted damage on somebody. Okay? And Canelo, I think it should be a 2-strike rule. I think Canelo should, if you get caught and you get positive for drugs in your system outside of the ring, I think that should be 1 strike. And I think the second time you should have a lifetime ban. And I think there should be 0 tolerance on if the commission has to go back and overturn and no contest your fight. That means you should be permanently banned from the sport of boxing. I think the only fight that you should be able to do is the fight with the person that you did that to if they choose to. So, for instance, Ryan Garcia should be permanently banned from boxing, in my opinion. The only fight that should be available for him is an opportunity for that said fighter to fight you once or twice. I think that should be your last paycheck in your severance package on your way out the door for doing PEDs and being caught with PEDs in the ring. Because the shit that he did, Ryan Garcia did to Devin Haney in his career is going to change his career forever, and it's not fair and it's not cool. And I don't think anything's funny about it. I don't think anything's cute about it. The drugs he was taking, it enhances muscle tissues. Some people going around lying, talking about it's a diuretic. You go do your research on what Ostarine does. It has multiple cheating ass benefits to it. Not just no goddamn, I'm losing weight. It's not just a weight loss thing. It's not even, no, it's not that. That's a lie. It builds muscle tissues and all the things that will give you an advantage that's illegal in the game of boxing. So Ryan Garcia is an absolute scumbag for that. I think he should have a ban. And I think that he's a drug cheat, and I wouldn't trust him under no circumstances, which is why I don't feel bad for him at all because of the fact that Tank stopped him. I don't want to hear shit about nothing about Tank and what he did to Ryan Garcia, because obviously Tank knew something we didn't know, because Ryan Garcia is a scumbag. Which brings me back to Canelo. Canelo is a drug cheat. And this is the type of fight where, you know, speed can be a problem for Canelo, foot and hand. And that boy Terrence Crawford got that reach. Terrence Crawford is damn near, listen, Terrence Crawford is not as bulky as Canelo, but Terrence Crawford is stronger than Canelo. Terrence Crawford deadlifts all the time without fake weights. He always messing around with 400 pounds. Obviously, he shouldn't be completely benching because he's a boxer, and you want your shoulders and your small muscle groups and your arms, your tries and your buys and stuff like that. You want that fluid. So he ain't got to impress me with 400, 405. But he does it. He mess around with 405, and you've seen the videos of the guy squatting. Terrence Crawford is stronger than Canelo Alvarez. Now, does that amount to him whooping his ass? Not necessarily, but I'm comfortable with his strength over Canelo's for all this little guy shit y'all talking about. I'm comfortable with Canelo's, I'm comfortable with Crawford's foot speed and hand speed over Canelo's Alvarez. And I'm just curious to see if it's gonna be if he's gonna destroy him, or is it going to be close? Because the two things you got to worry about with Canelo is the fix and the cheating, the drugs, the scams, and the schemes. No matter how you talk about it, no matter how you look at it, Canelo Alvarez is a scamming ass motherfucker. It don't matter how you slice it. He's a scam artist. You know it and I know it. You can't trust him. Would you trust your son to go in there and fight that motherfucker without a blood test? No, you wouldn't. No, none of you would. No, you'd be like, hell no, yeah, you right. Get him tested. Because Canelo would try and do anything to keep the A-side appearance and illusion going, because he relies on it. Part of why he wins his fights is because he's the A-side. The same shit Tank, they're giving Tank now. And you guys are bitching about Tank, okay? But you're not bitching about Canelo. The reason we're here with Canelo is because this is how it starts. Taking drugs and giving them passes and talking about, oh, it just some tainted meat in Mexico. Man, come on, we got to stop this shit. Now, Canelo paid his dues, and it is what it is. But I got Terrence Crawford whooping on his head. And if he get tested, I think Crawford stops him. All right? And Crawford is a Hall of Famer. And I usually go ahead and get up out of this. I try to, keep this about 30 minutes, but I got something else I want to discuss too, because I got some free time and I wanted to really cook on this subject, especially on the weekend. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more time here. And this is what I want to switch gears to. It's in the same vein of this conversation. I want to switch gears to this Errol Spence Hall of Fame conversation. Now, let's look at it. We're going to do documentation, beat conversation, and we're going to go through this together. I'm looking at his resume now, and I'm trying to see what is it about Errol Spence that makes him a Hall of Famer. I be hearing all these crazy arguments, these ridiculous arguments, and they're just not up to par or up to date. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get out of guys' hair as I cook on this a little bit. Well, when could we possibly track this Hall of Fame career from Errol Spence? What about Errol Spence's resume screams out, hey, now this is finna be a Hall of Famer? So let's start with Samuel Vargas. Most of us remember that fight. We know Samuel Vargas that doesn't get you one step closer to the Hall of Fame. This is documented history. April the 11th, 2015, Barclays Center, New York City. TKO, 4 out of 10. Okay, Samuel Vargas is a nobody. Is that, you know, I'm trying to get an understanding. Is that where we start at for the Hall of Fame career? Is that a fight where we can start at? I don't think so. Or maybe it's the fight after that. Maybe it's the Phil LaGreco fight. TKO Phil LaGreco, 3rd round out of 10, June the 20th, 2015. Is that where we started at? Because right now that's a no for me. But I'm just trying to see. I want to go over this because I want to make sure that anybody who says this, I want to know where it started so we can start looking at this and doing our research on it so we can figure out where this Hall of Fame talk and conversation comes in at, even for those who play the fence. I don't know, I'm neutral. He could, maybe so. No, motherfucker, explain yourself. Or don't. Explain yourself, motherfuckers. This neutral shit that you niggas like to do, I don't know, I'm just gonna go around and just be neutral and shit. Nah, motherfucker, say it with your chest. I know they got you picked and you in their pocket and they ain't yours and you can't say the wrong shit because you might not get another fucking interview. That's like the OG Blood said today. Yeah, I'm with him. Yeah, I my shit. I got dental. I got free dental. I got free medical. I'm pinching up. I'm with Blood. And I'm saying that to say blood, I agree with you. I don't need that either. I don't need to do all that. I can just cook on here. I know exactly what you're saying. You're good to go. Now, your cable blood was fucked up. And I'm going to tell them people you're still in cable. I know how y'all Florida boys do. Y'all like to steal cable down there. Plies already told me you're still in cable. I'm going to tell Kamala Harris you're still in cable now, Blood. But outside of you still in cable, Blood, I agree exactly what you said. That's my guy Blood, man. He always fucking with me talking about the dirt roads in Atlanta and me walking around barefooted and all kind of shit. But no, seriously, I agree with Blood is saying the intent behind the conversation, right? The intention behind the conversation is that we're not trying to sell out, and we're not trying to do any of that. We just want to get to the bottom of this. Is it Samuel Vargas? The answer is no. Is it Phil LaGreco? The answer is no. Is it Chris Van Herten? Come on now. And this is crazy. I know like the Hyplos and the Bloods and the D-Styles and the guys, we all saw these fights and we know who Phil LaGreco is, and we saw the Chris Van Herten fight. We know who these guys is because we was arguing about it. Most of you don't know who they are. Most of you guys haven't even seen these fucking fights to know whether yes or no. You haven't even seen. We saw these. We know who these guys were. These guys was ranked in the WBO, the IBO. We was going around figuring out the rankings and shit when you guys were not even on YouTube. We was arguing about this shit. We would have crazy conversations about Van Herten and how good he is and how good he ain't. Phil LaGreco, we was, okay, he's kind of tough. He kind of, we were talking about these guys. They're nowhere around anymore. All right. So is it Barrera? Alejandro? Nope. Chris Algieri, we all know him. We talked about him a lot. He's the guy who got the Pacquiao fight. He's an announcer now. They was trying to build him as this like handsome white guy that came from kickboxing. He was going to kick the welterweight's ass. And he was really finna put a whooping on us, in the boxing guys. And he's so handsome. He's a math whiz and he's so intelligent. Remember they was running that scheme with your boy Chris Algieri as the most handsome boxer that's a math genius, and he's finna get in here and straighten everybody the fuck out. He's an athletic white boy with range and speed and a big brain. Remember that? Y'all remember that? Yeah, we was talking about that. That's what they were saying about Chris Algieri. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what they were saying. Big brain, handsome guy, math whiz that used to be able to he used to kickbox. No, he sucked. Pacquiao put his ass down like 6 times, and then he somehow kept a name going for himself, came back around for, if I'm not mistaken, Ruslan, and then got into this Errol Spence Jr. situation and got his ass stopped in the 5th round. Chris Algieri ain't good. at all. Is that the fight where we turn it for Hall of Fame? I'm trying to get the momentum now. I'm trying to get the momentum so I can catch up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't young as I used to be, but I'm trying to make sure that I keep up with the Joneses so I can make sure that I figure out exactly where did this Hall of Fame nail started to get like, oh, hold on, when, Errol? When did it start building? When did we start laying the foundation for his Hall of Fame career? It can't be Algeria, none of those guys I previously named. Can't be that. Let's keep cooking. We're going to waste you guys' time who already know. We're just trying to talk to these new guys. Oh, my God. Was it Leonard Bundu? And then here is what we tend to do with this. Oh, Keith Thurman fought him. Yeah, but Keith Thurman ain't a Hall of Famer either. So what are we talking about? Bundu suck. He was undefeated at one time, but that's it. That's it. Bundu got stopped. It's just, no, man. Is that where we started the Hall of Fame career? Is that the found? Is it at Bundu? No, it's not at Bundu. Okay, maybe Kell Brook. All right, Kell Brook, that's a good case. That's a certified title holder. Kell Brook is solid. But Kell Brook also been beat up. You got beat up by Terrence Crawford too. Remember that now. But when Terrence Crawford beat him, you guys were trying to take away some of the credit. And I do give you this. When Kell Brook went up to fight Triple G and he came back down, they was trying to take some of the credit from Errol Spence. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in taking that credit away like that because Kell Brook, when he fought Terrence Crawford, he was coming off a 2-fight winning streak. And he also said that he was in the best prime fighting shape of his life. The eyes were good. Both of them had been damaged, but he was on a comeback trail from that. That's what Kell Brook said out of his mouth. He said no excuses. And he lost fair and square to Terrence Crawford. And I don't think we should take credit away from Errol Spence either. That was a big momentous fight. So maybe maybe that's a good one. Then Lamont Peterson is terrible. I ain't even waste my time. Ocampo's terrible. Mikey Garcia. Okay, and Mikey Garcia could be a Hall of Famer. He has a good resume. He didn't do too much at welterweight. He did put them hands on Adrian Broner, and he did have the nuts to get in there with Errol Spence. So Kell Brook is not going to be a Hall of Famer, even though he's a titleist. Lamont Peterson is trash. Ocampos is trash. And Mikey Garcia may be the first Hall of Famer that appears on Errol Spence's resume when it's said and done. Because of who Mikey Garcia is. Sean Porter, and I'm going to be quite honest with you. According to my standard, I don't think Sean Porter's a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry to say that. Does that hurt Keith Thurman? Does that hurt Terrence Crawford? Yeah, absolutely so. I just don't think Sean Porter's a Hall of Famer either. Not in spite of Errol Spence. I just don't. Sean Porter retired pretty early. Now, here's the thing. Now, here's the thing about Sean Porter. Sean Porter could get in there because of his broadcasting capabilities and the fact that the guy seems to be very reputable and his contributions to boxing can weigh in some favor with his Hall of Fame consideration. But based on his in-the-ring accomplishments, I don't think Sean Porter is a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. I just really don't. Tough fighter, but I just don't think he's a Hall of Famer. All right? And then we'll go back and look at Sean Porter briefly, too, just to make sure to be fair across the board. Danny Garcia may be a Hall of Famer. I will say that that's a good way to start. If anything, it would have started Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia because of Danny Garcia's work at 140, although not so impressive at 147, he did get into 147 and do his best, even though he just got stopped by Lara. But he does have a good little resume, Danny Garcia himself, and he may make the Hall of Fame. Mikey Garcia may make the Hall of Fame. Porter could make it because of his media contributions in addition to what he did. And it's just his overall likable persona, sometimes being clean cut, being solid. Like Sean Porter do one thing, like go in there and do some shit like he happened to be in somebody's corner that get a world title. He can add that to his boxing resume, and he'll probably fuck around and get in the Hall of Fame. Sean Porter get into one good, nice 30 for 30 documentary, then he might fucking be able to get in there. Because you guys got to think about the media aspect of it too. Sean Porter is very likable. So I can say that, and defer to Blood too about the media. Blood destroys the media, and Blood will he always does very good with that. Him and Hyplo. So shout out to Blood Boxing, the OG. He taught me a lot about boxing for us, the media, and doing your research with the newspapers and digging into these documentaries. And he inspired me to do my very first documentary on Jack Johnson because of his Marlon Starlings and Aaron Davis, and that damn documentary, probably the greatest one on YouTube from a non-media person. Like, Blood, please put that one up. That's probably the greatest. And I'm not saying that because you guys know I like Blood, but no, seriously, all due respect. You want to talk about some welterweight shit, and you want to talk about a lot of people like his wild caught one, Barbados. I like that one too. But the Marlon Starling, Aaron Davis, that shit is impeccable. That's one of the, yeah. I might look at that after I get off that, if it's still up. Blood, if you still got it up, I'm going to look at that after I get done. But the point of the matter is, I bring that up to tell you that when you dig into these welterweights, Blood speaks to the media and how it plays a role in these guys' Hall of Fame career is what I'm saying. And he does that a lot with a lot of his works. He tell you about the atmosphere, probably because he 179 years old. He old as fuck. So for some reason, Blood, he was fucking, Blood went to school when like it was one size fit all and shit. Like, when the 12-year-olds and the 5-year-olds when they went to school together, like, Blood came up doing like segregation and all kind of shit. Blood is an old motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But all jokes aside, but Blood, no, seriously, he does know how to loop in the atmosphere, and he knows how to explain it. And Bruce Gas will tell you about small nuances about these guys. And that brings me to my point of Sean Porter. Sean Porter is a clean-cut guy, and if he do a few things in the media in conjunction with his podcast, he could be a Hall of Famer. I wouldn't be surprised at that. So we got Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia that could potentially be Hall of Famers, but they're definitely world-class champions. So if anything, I would say it starts there. Now, here's the kicker about Errol Spence's resume, with all due respect. If we start at Mikey Garcia, that's a UD against Mikey Garcia, a split decision against Sean Porter, then we get into the car accident, unfortunately. Then we got Danny Garcia. Ugas has a lot of weight because of his Pacquiao victory, and then he lose to Terrence Crawford. So his Hall of Fame or potential Hall of Fame fights, he wins against Mikey, wins against Porter, win against Danny Garcia, and these are all decisions, and then he gets knocked out by Terrence Crawford, which is his fourth potential Hall of Fame fight. So, and that's just being as lenient as possible, because we're not going to say that Ocampos, Lamont Peterson, Kell Brook, Bondu, Algieri, Van Herten, Phil LaGreco, Vargas, these guys. Ronald Cruz was a notable name back then too that we was talking. And Larte. Larte was another notable name earlier in his career that we was talking about. And that's kind of Larte, for those who was hardcore, that put Errol Spence on the map, and then people started saying, watch out for this guy because he's stopping people. And when we got to Samuel Vargas, that's when everybody was like, Errol Spence is the guy, then LaGreco, so forth. So, but those are not Hall of Famers. Those are not Hall of Famers. He only has a potential of, he only have a potential of 4 Hall of Fame fights, if that. And that's me being very lenient with Sean Porter. I don't think Sean Porter's one. I can see Danny Garcia, I can see Mikey Garcia, and I can see Terrence Crawford. But I'm trying to get a benefit of the doubt and say Sean Porter through his media. But let's look at Sean Porter just to kind of look at some things, and we're gonna slide out of here. Let's see what Sean Porter did. And it's Olympic pedigree stuff everybody keeps saying. They keep seeming to be confused about or playing games with Errol Spence's medals. They be like, oh, he's a gold medalist. Not in the Olympics though. We in the amateurs, yeah. And do he got some gold there? Yes. Then they try to say, oh no, I mean he's a bronze winner. No, he's not. He qualified, but he didn't medal. Yeah, Earl Spence doesn't have an Olympic medal. Like he's not Andre Ward. You understand what I'm saying? He's an Olympian. He's an Olympian qualifier. But that's the extent of that. So a lot of which would matter because you win an Olympic gold medal that can help you quite a bit. Now Terrence Crawford, Julio Diaz. See, Porter had an issue there. People don't remember this, but that was a setback for Porter. The Diaz fight. When he drew with Diaz, that's the same guy. Thurman stopped him and retired because they were starting to see Thurman, Porter, Brooke was in the mix, and Keith Thurman, they was kind of recycling some of the same guy. And the younger Charlo was they was recycling through some of these same guys. So that Julio Diaz fight, that was a draw, and it set Porter back. And then he came and fought LaGreco. He rematched Julio Diaz, and then he fought Devin Alexander. Devin Alexander was coming off that back end with your boy Mike Jones and Randall Bailey and your Warren Zaviks and your Zab Judas. He was kind of bridging that gap. But Devin Alexander was solid. You know what I'm saying? He eventually ran into a lot of pill problems, drug problems, never was the same. Then Paulo Malignaggi, Kell Brook he lost to, Eric Bonet, Adrian Broner, not a bad win for Porter. Keith Thurman was a loss. Andre Granado's not good. Danny Garcia, Ugas. See, it's the same names. Errol Spence himself and then Terrence Crawford. See, this is not Hall of Fame, guys. This is not Hall of Fame at all. Terrence Crawford, who stops him. Errol Spence, he get in the ring with him, who is in question. Ugas, no, that's not a Hall of Fame. Danny Garcia. Berto is not a Hall of Famer. Keith Thurman is not a Hall of Famer. Adrian Broner may be, because he's the youngest to ever win 4 belts in 4 different weight classes. You know how that go. So no, I don't think Sean Porter is a Hall of Famer. So I don't see how that would net. I don't see, somebody have to explain this to me, man. One of you guys, one of you new guys who do all the cool graphics for your videos and Google everything, and you kind of use AI and what's the GPT chat, whatever the fuck it is, AI. You guys are going to have to tell me, you guys who kind of grew up with these cell phones like at a young age and shit. You know what I'm saying? I used to have to use the phone. Now, Blood used to have to, he used to have to kind of like use the old phone, the rotary shit. Blood used to talk to girls with the shit, the rotary phone. You had to stick your finger in there. Y'all don't know what that is. Ask Blood, he'll tell you. His old ass had to do the rotary phones thing where you had to do that. I remember seeing those like when I was a little kid and shit. My great grandma got it or had it. But I grew up on the phones like this, you know what I'm saying? The cord phone, you run it under there. So you guys who grew up with these iPhone 1s and 2s and 3, I think we went on the 14 now. So some of you guys who fucking grew up with this, you're going to have to explain to me, how do you net Errol Spence being a Hall of Famer? I'm serious. Like, where did it start at? Because we look at this, and we already knew this because we saw this guy fight. Now, I'm not trying to be funny. I know some of you guys kind of came around with the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence beef, and I know you guys kind of did your channel thing because it was hot, it was cool. It was like, yeah, fuck Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. Yeah, I get it. But now we passed that. We're talking grown man business here now. All right. So with grown man business, I'm seriously asking. I'm not being funny. And I'm not asking you to help. Ask for Bruce, Bruce Gas. I'm not asking you to go get like beats and steal their stuff and try to like use it against me, because I know these guys, I know their talking points. I'm asking you, how did you come up with the realization that this guy, Errol Spence, is a Hall of Famer? And I'm not talking about, don't go look at, because a lot of you guys do this. Don't look at a couple of Bruce Gass's videos and be like, yeah, now this guy gonna be able to tell me something that I would like to use against Zone. Bruce Gass has been around for a while, and I know you trick for you youngsters. I know you're gonna go start looking at Blood boxing stuff and start like seeing what he says. Like if Blood says, I think I can see a case for Errol Spence, you're like, oh shit, yeah, let me write this down and let me retaliate or use it against Zone. No, I'm not asking you to go plagiarize Blood or one of these guys who got the skills to possibly articulate this. I'm asking you, how did you come up with this? Because being, you know, because I know the guys that I talk to, and these guys here that I know, when they be objective, they're going to give you everything. They, like I said, I think most of them would agree with me that Shawn Porter, because see, here's the thing. We all know that the Hall of Fame standard is weak. So are they going to get in? Maybe. Because it's not that much. It's watered down, right? If the class is going to be Ugas, Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter, and Errol Spence, oh shit, hell yeah, he could get in. I mean, duh. Yeah, of course. If it's Errol Spence and goddamn Apollo Creed's son, being funny because that's a different category. But if it's Michael B. Jordan's character versus Errol Spence, of course Errol Spence is going. If they let Michael B. Jordan character in, because he might go to the Hall of Fame. Because what he's done 3 Creeds, and you guys keep, and I'm saying that because everything I'm saying is a response to all the shit you guys are saying, and it's ridiculous. Oh man, how come Rocky's in the Hall of Fame? Man, go look at what Blood already explained it. We're not going to keep explaining the same things to you guys every fucking live, because we want to talk about some other cool shit, like combing through these guys' resume and the fights that's coming up and seeing what's on the line, and talk about the good work that Usyk's doing, and really talk about if Crawford has a chance against Canelo Alvarez and what that means for boxing. Could Devin Haney vindicate himself and beat this drug-cheating Garcia up, and it'd be a good story? Will Garcia win this time? Maybe Rolly does something and pull an upset. You know, maybe karma comes back. Maybe, you know, we got to see all that. We want to get to that kind of stuff there. But not to hold you guys up, I'm finna get rid of the wrap. I don't want to go over an hour. Try to keep short ones about 30 minutes, and then the longer ones about an hour. Just, I got the house to myself. I sent the family out to Florida on vacation, and the mother-in-law and all that. So I get to have the whole house to myself. So I get to make as many videos as I want uninterrupted. And I was waiting for this one, this particular one, right? Let me do what I always do, because this is it. Let me go ahead and see who all been in here. I seen some of my guys stop by to show me some love. Blake, 22, I see you. What's up? EDD, what's up, Ed? Yeah. Raina, what's up, Vlog? Raina Vlog TV. Hyplo, of course, I was speaking on Hyplo. Okay, Christian, I see you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love. And of course, my big brother from Florida, Blood Boxing. Yeah, man, that's my guy. Definitely love his stuff all the time. Bruce is always the OG. I love looking at him. M-Stack's always been with me in my corner from day one. Rock with him. WCS. Yes, and WCS. I know you a big... he know what I'm talking about. Yes, this is my face. This is my face, all right? And I know what you were saying to Tony the other day in the chat. I get you. Yes, this is my face. And am I going to get up and take my shirt off so you guys can see my handsome muscles? And no, we're not going to do that. But I get what you were saying, and that's a joke from for WCS. I know what he's talking about. Like, some of you guys are funny on here. So what's up, man? WCS, I rock with you. Of course, let me see. Let me read some of these too. I wonder if those guys considered Thurman a Hall of Famer too. He did just as much as Spence at 147. For me, I wouldn't even consider Thurman a Hall of Famer. Even though Blood, for some reason, think I wanted to brush his ponytail back in the day. He always used to fuck with me about that. But even me, I don't think that he's a Hall of Famer. But one thing about Thurman, though, the guy's resilient for some reason. The guy keep coming back, and I lost faith in him. You know what I'm saying? But he come back and he beat this tomato can. I mean, cool. Now it's time for Thurman to get into some real fights, and he can't be fizzing out and phasing out and injuring his neck, his arm, back. He gonna have to retire if he does that again. He got to stop that shit. All right, Blood. But if the guy with the votes now vote him in, he's in. It's a joke, bro. He right. And that's what we kind of know. So we're not busting you guys' chops. We're just asking you, how do you come up to the conclusion that he's a Hall of Fame within the community? Because this is how it works, and this what I learned from the guys who've been on here for a while. As a community, and Blood mentioned this earlier about saving it. He'll save it. Blood can't help himself. He too good at boxing. He'll save it. Once he started streaking and making those videos, everybody kind of spins around, and it gets lit. Especially if he come around the summertime, he saves it whether he wants to or not. Right? The Blood just got it like that, and along with a lot of other guys, you know. So the question is really, how do you come up with these without regurgitating the same talking points? The point of the community is to think outside of the box, not to be too radical, but not to follow the media who has incentives to, be biased. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Gas, what's up, man? OG, love Bruce Gas, man. He keep me going. Sometimes when I be away, I be watching this stuff. Heavy Bag Butch, all right, Big Zone in the house. Yep, man. So we was talking about Heavy Bag. Salute to you, Heavy Bag Butch. But this is the wrap up, man. I went over my time, and I just wanted to say it just again. I mean, you can watch the playback if you didn't see it. I just want somebody to answer my question about when is it and why is it that Errol Spence is in here. It can't be because of the resume. I only see Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia as potential Hall of Famers. Obviously, that includes Terrence Crawford, but he lost. But it does count as on his resume. Now, if we're going to say it's because of the belts, okay, I can respect that. But if it's definitely because of the belts, then Terrence Crawford is definitely because of the belts, because we know he got belts. And if it's because of the belts, then stop saying Terrence Crawford is shooting himself in the foot by saying Errol Spence ain't a Hall of Famer. Because if you're going to say Errol Spence was a three-time welterweight champion unified, then what does that make Terrence Crawford when he's two-time undisputed? He was unified at lightweight, and then he won a title at 154. This guy's a four-weight world champion. 2 times undisputed, 1 time unified. And he's finna go up and try to be undisputed in the 3rd weight classes. And that means, you know what comes with that record? He'll be the first to jump up 2 weight class. No, he ain't. Never mind. Let me take that back. I started thinking about, I forgot for a second. No, he won't be. I'm thinking about today's era. As soon as I was about to say he was finna be the first to do something, the knowledge came in, and no, he not. So let me scratch that before I say that. In the 4-belt era, he'll be the first to jump up 2 weight classes and become undisputed in 4-weight belt era. You understand? That's dope. First fight at 168, jumping up 2 weight classes, undisputed. he'll be the first in history. And 68 ain't got that much history. That means like that nigga put his name in there with Ward. Because Ward fought at 68. Adonis Stevenson fought at 68. Canelo, 68. Froch at 68. That means Crawford went as far as 68. That's not bad. All right, man, we at 60 minutes. I don't want to go over that, man. I'll be back with some more videos coming up soon on different stuff. Of course, as usual, sports, music, and culture. That's all I got. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Definitely rock with y'all guys. And we got it down to a science now. So it's your boy Zone 6. I'm out.